You are feeling the freshness of a newly hatched desire. You are enjoying the continuation of not so newly, freshly hatched desires that have not yet manifested. It's easier to feel enthusiastic about the newly hatched desires, isn't it? That you haven't beat to death. But those desires that you've been speaking about for a while, that you feel have not yet manifested, those, sometimes you don't feel so good about those. So let them all go. Oh, you were easier than we thought you would be. We expected some protest. You get what we're talking about, though, don't you? That when you hold a desire that seems to stubbornly hold itself from manifestation, that sometimes your mood or attitude about it turns from this frisky, frolicking, eager, optimistic, anticipating desire to a sort of cynical, pessimistic, I hate myself for ever having wanted it kind of desire. And it's those desires that we really encourage you to let go, because when a desire feels like that, it's going to hold itself just out of your manifestational reach indefinitely. Those are torturous desires. So you have two options. You can either let it go altogether and give yourself a truly emotional break, or you can change the way you feel about it and bring it right to you. But you've got to do one or the other if you are to either have the manifestation or be happy. Of course, in your happiness, you can have everything that you want. So the key is to happily notice unfulfilled desires. Which brings us back around to what we were talking about earlier. When you feel eager and optimistic, even though it has not yet manifested, now it can manifest. But you say, Abraham, that's screwy as it can be, because how can I remain eagerly optimistic about something that is taking forever to manifest? And we say, but don't you see? The reason that it's taking forever to manifest is because you're not eager and optimistic. And you say, well, I would be eager and optimistic if it would manifest more easily, but this one is not manifesting easily. So how can I remain eager and optimistic? And we say, well, that's really what we're going to talk about all day long here today. How can I maintain my positive emotion even in the absence of things that I want? Or how can I maintain my positive emotion even in the presence of things that I don't want? And we say, it does require a little selective sifting. It does require a little thought management, a little mind control. But what it really requires, first and foremost, is a determination on your part that nothing is more important than that you feel good. Because until you decide that, you will not be willing to manage your thoughts. You will be among the oh so many who think that every thought that you think is good for you, and that objectivity is the secret to your success. Meaning, if I stand in my physical body on the leading edge of thought, and I weigh the pros and the cons, I objectively study and scrutinize all subjects so I have a well-balanced understanding of all things, then I will be a well-balanced and productive citizen. And we say, you will be one with scrambled energy. You will be one who activates within yourself what you want and what you don't want about all subjects. And in doing so, you will weaken your power because you will not be able to have a pure vibrational alignment with your own desire. You cannot focus upon the desire that you want and focus upon its absence and maintain vibrations with both what you want and with the absence of it without slowing down your attraction of this thing that you want. And that's what goes wrong with so many. You say, this is something that I want. Your life experience helps you to identify that. It's a wonderful thing how your physical environment helps you to focus upon the things that you want. In fact, the physical environment is the best focusing mechanism we have ever seen. Your creative genius here in this physically focused environment, here in your personally physically focused point of view, perspective. And as you are giving your attention to what is around you, you are literally molding the energy that creates worlds. So as you live in your experience, and desire is born as personal preference to you, you become the personal, individual summoner of the energy that creates worlds, and that energy flows to you and through you for whatever creative endeavor you are focused upon. So when you focus that energy toward your desire and you are in the same moment in alignment with the energy itself, which is what positive emotion feels like, then the energy flows through you, your creations come about, you feel wonderful, you feel productive, you feel enlivened because you are literally flowing life toward your desires, and all goes well for you and you are having fun in the process of it. You feel validated, you feel fulfilled, you feel satisfied, you feel eager, you feel like your inner being feels. But if you are focused upon the absence of something that you want, or if you are focused clearly upon something that you do not want, now you are using your perspective or your focus. You are still summoning toward what you are wanting because in every moment that you know what you do not want, the desire of what you do want is born. So the summoning of what you are wanting is always happening. Goodbye, everyone. When there is darkness, you want light. And so, as that desire is focused within you, source energy immediately begins to answer the desire, but if you are focused upon the absence of the desire, now you are holding yourself vibrationally apart from the very thing you want. You are understanding, many of you have been listening to us and others for a very long time, and you get it that you are the creator of your own experience. And most of you are now able to consciously make the correlation between what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what's manifesting. Today we're wanting to help you fine-tune, to help you to understand that in every moment, if you are consciously aware of the way you feel, then you are consciously aware of your vibrational standpoint, your vibrational point of attraction. You are constantly aware of whether in this moment you are allowing the fullness of who you are to flow to you and through you, or whether you are pinching some of it off in some way. We want you to relax, not only here today, but in your life experience in general. We would like it very much if you could relax into the expectation of well-being flowing to you. We like it when you realize that there is only well-being that is flowing, and it is flowing in huge proportion. And we would like it if you would recognize that you can let that well-being in, or you cannot let it in, that it is always there for you. It is always flowing to you. And it is tailor-made. It is specifically constructed. It is specifically molded and adapted to the specific desires that you have specifically preferred incrementally all of the days of this physical experience and even before you were focused here. The well-being that is there for your easy access, retrieval, manifestation, exploration, and full experience is beyond our ability to express to you verbally. We want you to know that well-being is yours. You just gotta find a way to line up with it. And your emotions let you know how you're doing. When you feel wonderful, you are really in alignment with the well-being that is yours. When you feel ornery, when you feel angry, when you feel depressed, not so much. You are recognizing that your emotions are varied, to put it mildly. There are some emotions that are so suffocating you can hardly get a breath of air. And there are some emotions that are so life-giving you feel you are floating on air. There are some emotions that are so satisfying that you feel who you really are, so purely focused in this moment that in the sublime moment you feel that you are eternal. And there are some emotions that are so absence of the fullness of who you are that you feel the true expression of what must be meant by the word death. Of course, death is only a physical word, and that feeling only comes when you are physically focused. In other words, you got to be alive in this physical body to feel that which you call death. Because death, as you mean it, doesn't exist anywhere in this universe. So, there is the really allowing yourself connection with who you are, and then there is the really pinching it off, and then there is everything in between. And the everything in between is called lots of different emotions. We like to say to you that there are only two emotions, one feels good and one feels bad. You call them all kinds of different things. But today we would like to explore with you this range of emotions, and we would like you to become more friendly toward your emotional range. We would like you to use it as the indicator that it is. We would like you to use it as the indicator of how fully aligned with who you are in the moment you are being. In other words, how much of who you really are you're allowing, or how much of who you really are you're not allowing. Full allowing or resistance of your connection with who you are. That's what your emotions tell you about. You do not see the gas gauge on the dash of your vehicle, and when it is pointing toward the empty mark, you don't resent it. You don't take your hammer and just beat the gauge off the dash. You foolish gauge, you should be fool. What's the matter with you, getting empty like that? Instead, you recognize it as a gauge and you do something about it. Sometimes you wait too long and you have negative experiences because you wait too long. But your emotions are a similar gauge. There is the full gauge, which is fully allowing your connection with who you are, and then there's the half-full gauge, which is sort of moving along where most physical beings are, and then there is the quarter tank full gauge, which is, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore, and then there is the empty gauge, which, of course, you can never be empty of who you are, but it feels like depression. It feels like betrayal. It feels like powerlessness. So there is fully empowered, which is who you really are, and then there's that feeling of of absence of empowerment, which you might feel is powerlessness. There is that feeling of ecstasy, and there's that feeling of depression. In other words, your emotions let you know what you're doing vibrationally. So, how do you empty of your energy, or how do you empty of your power? Well, those words really aren't accurate, because you can't empty of it, because you are not a vessel that is empty or full. Instead, you are a radio. You are a transmitting and receiving mechanism. You are someone who focuses upon thoughts which have vibrational content, and as you focus upon them, then your being takes on that vibrational content. So, if you are appreciating, if you are praising, if you are looking for positive aspects, if you are looking for reasons to feel good, then you are continually aligning with the signal that is who you really are, and you are maintaining that connection with who you really are, and like your toaster that is plugged in, you are able to toast your bread. In other words, you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on. But if you are finding fault, if you are not feeling good, if you are feeling unworthy, if you are focused upon those things that don't feel so good, then you are not allowing your full connection to who you really are.